Mm-hmm.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the
Welcome back.
long-awaited episode of the Reviews and Brews podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm Dan, and we got Zenodro here.
Woo!
And
Ha.
today, I am drinking. Since I'm the only one drinking on this episode, I am drinking Crush the Slush from Wet Ticket Brewing, right in my area. So shout out to local breweries for
Mhm.
having what I
Well,
need when I need it.
so welcome back, everybody. I'm so happy to be back, with Dan, that we could be able to do these podcasts again. And,
Right.
of course, we want to be able to, come in with a bang. We want to, what is it, where there's something that we want to do on the show. We want to admit today, or I should say, we should say and I think we should start off with a bang. We are officially endorsing Donald Trump for the 2024 election. I'm just
Whoa.
kidding.
Not I. Not
I just
I.
wanted to
Not
see what
I.
you would
Not I.
say. You were like,
That is
chill,
that
bro.
is that is not a statement I've ever made in my life. So I mean, if that's what he wants to believe, it wants to do, that's on him. But that's not my view at all, in the slightest.
Well,
No, but
send that.
we're not going to do a political one this time around. But before we get into the topic of today, what have you been up to, Zen? Tell people what
Just
you
been
have going
chilling,
on.
just like, working on different stuff, trying a few different things and stuff like that. Hoping, I don't know, working. I started reworking on some music and things like that. So that's really dope. How about you?
I mean, it's pretty much the same, honestly. I've been trying to do more performances, so I got
Okay,
one.
okay, I see you.
Yeah, I got one coming up at House of Independence in Asbury Park on July 28th. So if anyone wants to come through, message me on Instagram at the real underscore DMG, and I'll send you the details for sure. But other than that, yeah, performing, working on more music. What else I got going on? That's pretty much it, honestly. Outside of working, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Dan, by the way, send that link over so that we could share it.
Wait, which link?
The link to the stream.
Oh yeah. No. I mean, I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. But you don't have to worry about it right now.
Yeah, okay, got it, got
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
got it, got it. Okay, so today I was thinking, I feel like some of or at least my favorite of our
Mm,
shows was kind of talking about like the top 10 list. We had a bunch of them. I think one of the
okay,
ones
yeah,
that really
I agree.
came, yeah, one of the ones that really like I remember well is like talking about like the horror list and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So I thought for today we could kind of go into that kind of realm. Like in my opinion, it's really difficult to find like a horror film that's like good nowadays. You know,
I'm gonna have to say this year has been pretty good in terms of horror movies.
but like I'm saying, compared to other genres, that in comedy, it's like kind of hard, especially because like especially with comedy, but that's a different story just because it's subjective. But with
Yeah.
horror, right? I what I've seen, and this is like not just talking about like recently, but this has kind of just been something that's always been the case. Is
Yeah.
like they'll hit a gold mine and then they like milk that
See,
thing
I
until
feel
it's
like
dead in the ground.
the hardest genre to do is like, at least for me, the hardest genre for me to get into is dramas. Like that's super hard for me to get into. Like I don't like. I feel like comedies I can let pass, sort of, kind of, just because they're not meant to be taken seriously.
Hmm.
But dramas, when I have to like actually feel some sort of empathy for characters more so are harder for me to get into. But I mean, that's just me as a movie person. Like those, like it has to be a really good drama movie for me to be just consider it good. Like I don't know if you ever seen The Bike Riders.
No, never
It
seen
came
that.
it came out recently. So AMC does this thing called AMC Screen Unseen on like Tuesdays or random days in the month,
Uh-huh.
and you pay $5 and they let you go see a movie before it comes out,
Oh,
essentially.
that's dope.
And so there was a rated R one, and I was like, oh, maybe this is horror, but it was not, right? I was so pissed. Listen, I left the movie theater within the first 10 minutes. That movie was
Oh,
so trash, and it was just so uninteresting for me. And then it started off with these like this chick with this this accent. I don't know where she was from, but I was like, I'm not listening to this for like 2 hours.
wait, what's
I was
it
like, I'm
called?
confused.
I want to
It's
look
called
this
Bike
up.
Riders, and I think it's like I think it's rated good, but nope. You'll understand why. Like if you watch the movie, you'll be like, okay, I know why Dan left now. Like
Okay, so it has.
it's probably a really good movie to people, but to me, it was not my cup of tea at all. First 10 minutes, I was out of the theater. I was like, listen. I mean, and I also have the A list, so it really didn't matter. I was seeing the movie for free, kind of anyway. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'm not. I'm just not gonna stick around for this movie."
Yeah, you're not a drama person, so you know.
But there are dramas. It was just I was expecting a horror movie, and then to
Mhm.
throw this type of movie in my face was just the audacity was crazy.
Wait, but like, so you're not a horror person? I mean, a drama person. I mean, and so, but if a movie like there's certain movies and television shows too that kind of transcend the genre. You know what I mean? I could
That's what I'm
think
saying. Like
more. Yeah,
I have to like feel like a connection to what the movie's about for me to really be invested in a drama movie.
yeah. Like, not everyone likes biopics, right?
Right.
However, and I'm sorry, I still haven't watched it. Been very busy, but Oppenheimer did really, really, really well at the box office, especially coming at the same time as Barbie, which also did amazingly well.
Yeah. Like
And like,
Oppenheimer, not my movie.
yeah,
Not
yeah, but
not
I'm
sit through.
talking, yeah, but I'm talking about like in general, like people, like you know what I mean, not just you,
Yeah.
you know. So, but there's like that movie, I feel like transcends that biopic genre. They don't typically do well, right? I feel
Mhm.
like, sometimes they do, especially if they really embellish the facts.
That's true.
But that one is also one that kind of like transcends the genre. We could even go as far, I feel like TV shows is a good example as
Mm.
well. Like, House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, right? That's like a
Are those
fantasy.
considered dramas though?
Yeah, it's because it's within that. It's like because it takes
I
it.
feel
It
like it's a
trans.
mixture of like three. It's like fantasy, drama, action. Because
Yeah, yeah,
there's a
yeah,
decent
yeah.
amount of action in it too. So I feel like when like movies blend genres in that way, it's easier to digest for people that are interested in other genres. But like I feel like a strictly drama movie TV show, unless you have you can dedicate the time into like build, like the character development and getting people to fall in love or feel some type of way about these characters. For
Hmm.
me, it's not going to work out unless they do that. And in a movie, it's hard to do because you don't
I
have
feel.
that much time. But like TV
Hmm.
shows, I can do. Like for instance, I watched all of Grey's Anatomy. Like I'm not going to say it's my favorite
Yeah.
show, but it was a good show to me, and I was able to like develop empathy for certain characters.
Yeah, I feel that. I've had shows like that. I could tell shows like off the top of my head that I didn't really love, but I did watch the whole thing, like 30 Rock. I'm trying to think of other ones, but 30 Rock comes to my head. That was just a good show. And then, but there's one thing that you said that actually I wanted to just touch on
Ozark,
a
you,
little
you
bit.
like Ozark, right?
Yeah, Ozark. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah, like I liked
I
it.
did
I
not
didn't
like
love
Ozark,
it.
but yeah,
It
I did
was
not like
okay.
Ozark.
Uh, you know, but back to what you were saying, right? Like with Game of Thrones, when you're saying it's a blend of genres, it's true. However, right, although the first scene, right, was very like fantasy based, right? There's like something going on in the first scene of the show in Game of Thrones. Throughout the whole season, except maybe towards like maybe there's like very few spots, but then towards the end there's more fantasy when like Daenerys's dragons are born in the first season. It's a very drama filled show, like no like really fantasy. It's really about like the political
Who's the
stuff that's going.
antagonist in Game of Thrones? Like over the entire, was it like different each season? Because I didn't watch it, so was it like a different
So
season?
yeah, everyone thought it was the Night King, and then they kind of fucked that up toward the end. And
Is the Night King also that frosty looking guy?
mm-hmm.
Okay.
They used him as a plot device to weaken Daenerys' armies, because Daenerys had like a really strong army, and then she went up north, and then she lost like a lot of it. But it made so, but it was like
Spoiler
a way.
alert. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, well, if you haven't watched it, then you're like, I don't know. But yeah. So when she went up north, she lost most of her army, and then when she came back, she could fight Cersei for the throne. However, it was more of an equal footing because of the army she lost.
Okay.
So it felt to me like it was like a way to destroy half like her army so that it would seem fair to Cersei when they fought the final battle. However, it should have been the other way around. She should have fought Cersei first, taken control of her forces, then gone after the Night King. Literally, the first episode in Game of Thrones sets up, like, tells you it's going to be a fantasy, like, type of show. And then it doesn't talk about fantasy pretty much for the rest of, like, the season. There's, like, not that much.
Gotcha.
There's like little bits and pieces in the first season, but then it gets further and further, right? And they start talking about it. House of the Dragon instead takes place in a time where because the dragons in that time weren't alive until like Daenerys reborn them. But House of the Dragon is a prequel that takes place when dragons are still alive. That's more fantasy. And definitely would not have done as well if it were, even though it's really good, if Game of Thrones hadn't come out first. Because Game of Thrones was really at first, like, based on the, the drama aspect, and then started over seasons making it more and more about, like, the fantasy aspects and stuff. So people weren't, like, thrust into, you know what I mean? Thrust into the fantasy aspect. There was like that bit of realism where people could be like, oh, okay, I get what's kind of happening. This seems like very political. It's a lot of drama, a lot of tension between these different factions. I could get into that because I can't understand it in like a real life sense.
Tudors plus fantasy.
Yes, exactly. It's like medieval, but they slowly insert that fantasy so that people would kind of like, you know what I mean? They get, and then over time, and then like once it became like every episode you're seeing dragons, but like at that point you're like so used to it because you got like you were like slowly getting used to it, and now it's okay to see it. And now with House of Dragons, it's literally the show, right? So it's okay because we're already in that world. So that's how I kind of see it in that way. So it is a drama, and that's one of those dramas that transcends, right? The genre. Same with what's another one? I think a big one is
Breaking Bad.
Oh yeah, Breaking Bad. Squid Games.
Yeah, I would say Squid Games is more of a thriller too, though,
than a drama.
Because like the whole games aspect is like maybe like suspense drama, what kind of suspense drama thriller. I feel like I would categorize Squid Game as, because it's not just drama. I feel like the drama only comes into play when it gets into like those people's personal lives and figuring out why they all came to play the Squid Games. But other than that, I feel like the whole game aspect is suspense and thriller.
I don't know why they're making a sequel to that. Well, I know why, because of money, but like I don't know why. Like creatively, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what they do with like the sequel. Because I mean, there are different games they can play.
Yeah, if they like it could be kind of like how in certain shows or like spoiler alert, like certain mangas or anime, right? Like in Chainsaw Man. Do you want to
Right.
know about Chainsaw Man?
Oh, you can say what you need to.
So in Chainsaw Man, like the first, I just finished it because I really liked the episodes, and so I went into the manga, and so the first part, right, has to do with
Yeah.
Denji, the main character, but then the second part, it still has him. However, he's not at the beginning; it's a new character, but I believe he comes in later. So, but like
Okay.
as like more of a secondary character, right? So I feel
You say
like
this is the second season that's gonna come out?
no. This is in regards to the manga. They're
Okay.
way before that even happens.
Okay.
Probably like 3 seasons before that even occurs. But anyway, so so I feel like what they could do in Squid Games instead would be like they could have it so that the guy, the main character, I forgot his name, would be in a different, like he comes in, like he could be like that guy who came in like, you know, undercover, and he could
Yeah.
go undercover, but no one knows that he's undercover, and then he
Right.
makes like a surprise appearance in one of the episodes when they're doing like another Squid Games in another country, right? And then it's based on that country's what's it called? Based on
Are you,
that country.
are you saying like coming back as a player or a game master?
A game, not a game mask. Yeah, one of those guys that wear the mask,
Okay.
but not the black mask, not like the big guys. I'm talking about like how that police guy, he came in and kind of just like if he could do the same thing. However, this time we don't see that happening. Remember with the police officer, we actually see like his story unfold, and then he goes through the whole thing. I'm talking more like he does it, but we like, so it'll be more like there's this new season takes place in like, let's say Brazil, right, or something, and then it's based off, right, Brazilian child games, like, or if we did it in America, we would do like American games. You know, tug of war. Well, tug of war is like I think a universal. I can't even think of like an American
Maybe
game that we play.
Duck Goose, is that American?
Could be.
Let's see. I think it is.
But you get my point, right?
Tag is probably American.
Tag, yes. You ever seen that movie, Tag? That was a good movie.
I have. I like Tag.
That was a good movie. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, Tag. You know, based on that culture's like, you know, childhood games. That's how I would play it. And then like in the mid-season, right, the new main character. Swedish. What type in what is it? What is an American?
Duck Goose is Swedish. So fun fact for anyone that hears that at a trivia night. Duck Goose migrated from Sweden to America.
Wait, Wall Ball is American? Or was it made in America?
I feel like a bunch of American games are like not American games.
Yeah, child games were created in America.
Okay, Tag, Dodgeball, Hot Potato.
Dodgeball.
That would be a good one.
Dodgeball would be a good one.
Ooh, Hide and Seek would be a one too.
This would be really cool. Okay, for dodgeball, right? So everyone would have like a thing strapped to their chest or something like that, right?
Right.
And then, of course, you know, if you have the ball and you hit it, and then it turns red, kind of like in laser tag, and then you're kicked out. And then if everyone loses, then it explodes.
That would be crazy.
Something like that, you know what I mean?
I can definitely see that. Or like,
yeah.
I can
That's
see
how I would do it.
Too.
I think they'll do it. I think they'll for the next one they'll like have it in a different country, and it'll be based off that country's.
Games.
Yeah, it'll be a big country that has a big population and is popular with Netflix. Besides
But I mean, I
America,
feel like not were all those games from that country in the first Squid Games?
I thought it was all Japanese games, right? Because the
Like
guy,
Red Light, Green Light is a Japanese game.
they Korean. Sorry.
I mean,
Yeah, but
Korean.
yeah, I know what you meant. Yeah. I don't know. I honestly don't. I assume so because he did talk about like the guy was like that he played those games when he was a kid. So I thought,
well, it was a different iteration of Red Light, Green Light, so maybe that's why. Because it was the person that turns around and then looks back. So I think it's like based off of Red Light, Green Light, but not Red Light, Green Light. If that makes sense.
It could be. I don't even know.
But yeah, so today we are going down the horror route, like you mentioned earlier. And we're talking about a movie that came out not too long ago called In a Violent Nature. And so just the premise, the moral of the whole movie I got was don't touch shit that don't belong to you. Like at the end of the day, don't touch shit that don't belong to you. But essentially what the summary of the movie is about is these kids go into the woods and take this necklace, and it awakens the spirit of this guy that had lived maybe a few decades prior, and he goes on a killing spree. And the whole movie is based on the perspective of the killer for I'd say maybe like 95% of the movie. It's like the killer's perspective. So it's like we had talked about over like text and shit like that. It's like if Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers was being followed around with the camera instead of like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, I think that's the perfect way to say it because, like, I feel like there's been movies where they take the perspective, not the whole perspective, like base the whole movie on it, but a big chunk of it in the killer's point of view, right? But in those movies, the killer has a personality, right? And like Freddy Krueger type of villain, Chucky type deal, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying they always do that, but they'll like take maybe in certain yeah, definitely in some of the sequels I would say that they they kind of like they put more time in their shoes, or I should you know what I mean. However, you do not see that because in the movie, like you said, right, the killer is more of a, like you said, Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers type of murderer who like does not like speak and just kind of just walks really slowly, right, and is just there. So it's like really interesting and really kind of, in my opinion, it's really cool. And you would think that it would get boring, but I really enjoy the way that they kind of integrated, like they'll put in like some dialogue, people talking, while the killer's kind of just like slowly walking, right? And you see that a few different times throughout the movie, and I just thought that was like kind of a really cool thing that they did. I enjoyed the movie just because it was like a very fresh take on the slasher genre from what I've seen before, and not just a fresh take, but like it just like was done also very well. The acting in some cases they're not super great.
It was definitely like low budget acting for sure.
Yeah. It's a B movie, but the camera work was good, right? That stuff was good. The effects were good too.
Yeah. It didn't look like overdone and campy.
Yeah, no, it did not look campy.
Like some of the acting, like he was saying. But yeah,
the acting for sure. But it was like, I definitely enjoyed it. I definitely recommend it, especially if you're into that kind of genre. It's a
Yeah.
very, very, very good genre to kind of get into it.
Hmm. I agree. It was for me. I would say if I'm rating it on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd probably give it like a 7. I'd probably give it like a 7,
Yeah,
solid
I think
7.
I'm gonna go with a 7.5, 7 around that.
Mhm. Because it was just like I feel like some of the acting definitely could have been way better than what it was for sure.
Also, the
Um,
ending, I like read like the meaning behind it just to see like I didn't love it. I see what he was going for, but that's all I'll say about it.
for me, I just wanted it to like if we're gonna go down that slasher route, I wanted more of a fight against
Mm-hmm.
the slasher where that just never happened. It was like he literally just did whatever he wanted and no one could do anything about
Hmm.
it. So like there was never a time where I was like, okay. Well, actually, no, I'm lying. There was a time when it almost happened, but then it just didn't happen. And then I was like, is this really going to be the end of it? And then I guess it was. Not sure how, or I mean, I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm not sure what actually ended up happening in the woods after what had happened, but it seemed like it came to a close for the time being.
Yeah, they may make a sequel. I would. I don't know if I'd watch it just because I think the allure of this is just kind of the different, like the
I
change
feel like
in
they should
like.
do like if they're doing sequels for this movie, it should definitely if it should be anthological, not
Oh,
necessarily like a
okay.
direct sequel, but like taking the perspective of various different types of killers
That's actually a great fucking
type
idea.
of
What
situation.
type? Like, what can you think of though? Like that would be like where there would be like
So like I
that would
like
kind
for
of work.
instance, a Blair Witch type of situation where you're following the spirit or whatever, like a group of kids conjured in the woods
Oh, that's a
or something like
great
that,
one.
right?
Yeah, no, I like that one for sure because it's a docu series, like it's because it's
Mhm.
like documented, but you'll like see the camera, but it's like you'll see the guy holding the camera,
Yeah, yeah.
and like in certain scenes, I think that would actually be a cool concept if done well.
Mhm.
Uh,
Because you know how like the people in the survivors or whatever, like they're running with the camera and you can barely see what's happening when they're running, but like you'd have like a steady like camera that shows them running and like following the spirit or entity, whatever you want to call it. So I think like maybe instead of in a violent nature, they can call it in a haunted nature, and like have that be the sequel type of
that's
situation.
actually a great idea. I
Yeah,
like that a lot for sure. Damn. Okay.
I
Okay.
want my
Yeah. No,
credit and my money if y'all do this though.
I ain't giving you
I'm
shit.
not giving these ideas out for free.
I
It's
ain't giving you
it's
anything. Yeah.
it's written down right here in this video that I came up with this idea.
Get the copyright.
Yeah, sell it to them. I'm like, listen, I watched your movie. Here's an idea for a sequel. Pay me.
Mm-hmm. It's a good
See,
idea
see.
though. I like that idea. Uh, I co-wrote it with him, so just
Give us the EP credits.
give us a cameo.
Yeah, I'll run
Uh,
with the camera. You can do the stereotypical kill the black guy off. Just let me get the first 15 minutes in. Even give me my
what
15 minutes.
movies do they really do like kill the black guy off like first off? I like off the top of your head.
Did that happen in? No, that wasn't first.
Because that's the
Leprechaun in the Hood. They did it.
Isn't it all like just black people in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not all of them. Not all of them were black. I think there was an Asian in there too.
There was an Asian.
Yeah.
Throw him in there. Yeah, but damn. Okay. Are you in your Leprechaun movies?
Love those things.
Mm-hmm. No. I don't think I've ever really fully watched Leprechaun 1.
Oh, I watch that at least 10 times a year.
I know you love that movie.
It's just something easy for me to throw on in the background if I don't want to pay attention because I've already seen it. So I'm like, all right, I'll just play this. Or if I'm like laying down about to take a nap, I'll just throw that on because I can just fall asleep and not worry about missing anything because I've already seen it.
They need to make a good reboot of that.
Listen, I don't want no more Leprechaun reboots if Warwick Davis ain't coming back as Leprechaun.
He's old though. Like you gotta like give.
I mean, the Leprechaun doesn't require that much. Like you can use a body double for like the running and stuff.
That's true, but still, like
like I just think I don't know. I've seen the other Leprechaun movies, and no one has nailed the vibe of Leprechaun the way he has. And similarly with like the Freddy Krueger reboot, it was never as like the Freddy Krueger was never as good as the original.
They were going for a different vibe, it was supposed to be more, I guess, realistic in a way. You know what I mean?
But they still made Freddy Krueger say like these one-liners that just didn't give off that Freddy vibe. It was just, I don't know. Like Robert Englund was just the supreme Freddy Krueger, which is why I guess they had made like 7 different movies.
Which is funny because the guy who did the second Freddy Krueger, he's a good actor. He was in I think the movie Little Children, which he got nominated for an Oscar, and then he
not to say he didn't do a good job. Not to say he didn't do a good job, but like you said, it was a more serious Freddy than like a petty Freddy.
Yeah, you need somebody that's like has that, like Freddy's known for his sense of humor.
Yeah.
Which he did not have. But at least the movie wasn't as bad as Halloween ends.
I mean, I think that series overall was good.
Yeah, the first 2 movies weren't bad, but the freaking second one was like a third one was terrible.
Like if we're rating it over like watching the entire series, I think it's a solid. I also give it like a solid 7 in terms of like the overall series. But yeah, the ending, it just seemed like rushed.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. That like when he's like bitch slaps like Mike Myers and takes his mask and Mike just like allows it. That's just kind of stupid.
It's like they went in like totally just different directions during that movie. Like they made it seem like, all right, it's going to be the final showdown between Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis, his character, but then introduced like sort of like this demonic presence that just influences people to turn into this monster. So it's like,
you thought it was a demonic presence?
No, I mean not necessarily demonic, but like this evil, dark presence that overcomes people and like drives them to do certain things. Where I was like, isn't the whole purpose of Michael Myers him being like a psychopath that just wanted to get back at his, like, to kill certain people in his family, and now this just suddenly passes on to someone else who just had nothing to do with anything? It was weird. I don't know. That's where it lost me, honestly. Up until then, I enjoyed. Yeah, he's going after his sister or whatever.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. That movie was just like so. It was just bad.
It also wasn't Michael Myers in the end. Like Michael Myers is definitely more stealthy and invisible when it comes to like him rampaging through Haddonfield. And then this series just took him out of that, and he just did not care about anything. He was like, I'm not trying to hide what I'm doing. I'm going after anyone and anything that is in between me and my family. And that's what happened. And it just was a massacre.
Like always. And they're gonna reboot the movie again probably in a few years.
I think they're making or maybe that's the Jason franchise. They're making the movie like a TV show. It might be Michael Myers too. I think they're doing a TV show for it.
TV show would be good, I think. They should just like if they reboot it. I didn't like with the. I remember the Friday the 13th reboot. They did like the Friday the 13th, the original. They just played it the first like 5 minutes, like within the opening credits.
Okay.
And then they just had that happen because it's a great like the first movie is really really good. The first one doesn't even have Jason.
Is that the first one?
Yeah, that is the first one.
Oh yeah. The first one is his mom.
And they made it seem like Jason was just fucking never died. He just like just was living in the woods, and then he witnessed his mom being dead.
Yeah.
And then
that like sent him on like a vendetta against everyone at Camp Crystal Lake.
Yep.
Or associated with it. I actually didn't mind that reboot on at all either.
I like those first 5 minutes, but they always do that. I feel like there's a lot of movies that are like that where like it's like they had that idea and they were like, yo, imagine we just like make a montage like really quick and it's just scenes and then we kind of just go in a different direction with like how everything happens. And then the whole movie kind of just like falls apart after that. That was one. I remember a big one was like Mortal Kombat. Like the first like 10 minutes were amazing with Scorpion's family, but then just kind of.
Are you talking about that new Mortal Kombat that they made?
Yeah. It wasn't a bad movie. I'm just saying the rest of it wasn't as good as the first 10 minutes.
They're making a second one, aren't they?
Yeah, I think Luke Cage is gonna be in it. Not Luke Cage. What's his name?
Jax?
Johnny Cage.
Oh, Johnny Cage.
I think wasn't Dax in the first one?
Yeah, he was.
Who's gonna play him?
I felt like I was watching something, or maybe reading something, and it was saying like the second one is definitely going to be more fight oriented. There's like a lot of fights.
Oh, here I got some of the cast. Carl Urban's actually gonna play Johnny Cage.
Is he related to Keith Urban?
No, he's from The Boys.
Which character does he play?
Butcher.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
His American accent's good. Martin Ford, this bodybuilder, is gonna play Shao Kahn.
Okay.
Let's see. But Liu Kang was in the first one, right?
Yeah, he was.
Okay. Who are we missing? No fucking way.
What happened?
Wait, you've seen Shogun?
No, I have not seen Shogun.
Oh, one of the guys in Shogun was the one who played Raiden. I didn't know that. I didn't know he was he spoke English.
Okay, I'll have to. I mean, I've been meaning to check out Shogun. I was just waiting for the entire season to end.
It's such a good show. You're gonna love it. We could talk about that next time, or I mean, not next time because that'll be a week, but like eventually.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah, once I finish it up, we'll figure it out.
I'm getting tired. But maybe we should wrap it up for tonight, and then we'll figure out what to talk about next week.
Any other movies you got on your list that you wanted to see?
I got a few. You know what I've been wanting to watch?
What?
I was trying to watch Godzilla Zero. I know I'm a little late to the game, but
I haven't watched that yet.
there's
There's a new Kong movie out too.
Yeah, Kong versus Godzilla. That one's more like an action-y film. I think Godzilla -1 is more of a like kind of drama-filled Godzilla, because I got like really high reviews.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll definitely do it. But yeah, we'll figure out something for next week.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, thank you everyone for joining us on our welcome back episode. This is like maybe the third time we came back, but thank you for joining us anyway.
I had to point that out.
We appreciate you for sticking through. And if you watched In a Violent Nature, feel free to let us know your thoughts on it as well. And don't worry, we have not checked the playlist submissions because we haven't been really on top of that.
Yeah, we got to do that.
But
yeah,
we will start doing more of those, listening and deciding which playlist the songs should go on. So keep submitting those songs, and we will eventually get to those as well. We're just coming back, and we appreciate you sticking around with the Reviews and Brews podcast. So stay tuned for more content and more episodes. It's Damage signing out.
peace.
Zenodra.
I heard.
All right, yeah. Zenodra's got to go take a nap. So we'll catch you guys next time at the Reviews and Brews podcast.
Love naps.